Welcome to Rainy Day Rabbit Holes,
a uniquely Pacific Northwest podcast.
I'm Shay.
And I'm Jody.
Let's fall down the rabbit hole. Well, happy Tribal New Year.
Tribal New Year,
Yeah,
huh?
Did you know that today, December 20th, is Tribal New Year for a lot of indigenous peoples in the Pacific Northwest?
No idea. Had no idea.
Yeah.
So several, not all.
Yeah, several,
Okay,
not all.
gotcha.
I don't know. Anyways, guys, it is the day before Winter Solstice in the year of 2023.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it is.
Did that sound like I didn't know what year it was?
Yes, it did.
I was like, how do you say it again if you're not saying 2023?
You had to think that through. 2023.
So I know some of my friends were a little bit grumbly that I ruined Thanksgiving for them. And they said, Shay, you had better not ruin Christmas because that is my favorite holiday.
I kind of want to call you Grinch, so I was hoping that you would keep the theme.
Well, I have to tell you a little story. Jody and I were walking through a casino because we are currently, by the way, sidebar, we are currently back in the same location that we recorded our very first podcast episode.
Yes, we are in North Bend, Oregon, at the Itty Bitty Inn.
We are. We are in room 1, though. I am staying in the original room, room 2, the Oregon Trail room, and Jody is this the Tiki Lounge room?
Yes.
Okay, and Jody and her husband have the Tiki Lounge room, so we're having a wonderful couples weekend. We got to see Rick, Mama Chicken, and explore the beautiful Oregon coast again. It's been great.
Yes, and this time it's now months later, so it's winter, so it's a whole nother experience.
Exactly.
It's beautiful, as always. Beautiful.
Just a little bit cold.
Yeah.
A little bit
different.
wet.
Different. My feet are still cold from today.
Well, you were wearing those rain boots.
Yes, and I was stupid and didn't think that it would be that cold, and my feet are cold. Should have wore those insulated socks that I brought.
Absolutely.
Why wouldn't you wear them?
Jody and I went for a little trip and we went into the casino to play some video blackjack and video poker. And as we're walking through the slot machines, of course, I start to try to ruin it for everybody. I don't know why anybody likes to play slots
Loudly.
And I stopped myself and I was like, that is kind of what I do. I end up just trying to ruin things for everybody, not on purpose.
No, she did. She literally did that. She stopped herself mid-sentence and said, "Oh no, I'm in the middle of people who are enjoying themselves at slot machines. What is wrong with me?"
So, anywho, I am not going to ruin Christmas for you guys. But since this podcast is falling on the Tribal New Year, the day before Winter Solstice, I thought it would be really fun to give you guys a little bit of insight into how the indigenous people in the Pacific Northwest and also people around the world and throughout history might celebrate the winter solstice.
Oh, I'm excited. By the way, Shay has given me 0 details on this episode and what to expect.
Yeah.
So I will be hearing it like you're hearing it.
Yeah, it was fun.
Hopefully I ask your question.
Yes, and hopefully I can answer some of them.
Yeah.
Well, first, we got to refill these champagne glasses.
Oh, yeah. Pour me up. Oh, yeah.
All right. Well, here's cheers to you on the night before the longest night and shortest day of the year.
Oh, I'm so excited to get back to longer days.
I
Here we
know.
go to longer days.
Here we go. Cheers.
Cheers.
All right, guys. So, yeah. So instead of ruining Christmas, which I could do if you really wanted me to.
I'm still going to call you Grinch.
That's totally fine. I do love Christmas. I think it's fun. Yeah, the winter solstice is really interesting to me. Again, the winter solstice marks the shortest day and longest night of the year, and it holds special significance for many indigenous communities around the world. In the Pacific Northwest, where nature's influence is profound, Native American tribes have unique and deeply rooted traditions tied to this celestial event. So first off, let's talk about the solstice itself. It's a scientifically documented astronomical, I can say it, astronomical moment when in the northern hemisphere, the Earth's north pole is tilted most directly away from the sun, resulting in the least amount of daylight. So that's just why.
All right. And then it starts rotating back the very next moment.
Exactly.
Okay.
And up here in the Pacific Northwest, we're pretty far north. So we are pretty deeply impacted by these short days. But On the other hand, that means that during the summer, we have longer days than, say, Arizona.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's why it's perfect to be a snowbird summering up in the Pacific Northwest.
Exactly. You can come up here and it's still light at 9 p.m.
It's not too hot. You're not going to fry.
Phoenix. Exactly. Different cultures have developed unique customs, rituals, and festivals around this event. And many of these traditions actually have been incorporated into what our modern Christmas holiday is, which I found very interesting, that it was rooted in winter solstice tradition.
Okay, so I've always heard that it's possibly some pagan rituals, or do you call them that, involved in how we celebrate Christmas today. Is that also some of the winter solstice stuff?
Yes,
okay.
So it does seem from the little bit of poorly done research that I did.
I love this.
That's what our podcast is all about. Half an hour of research and I'm an expert. So
it's really about the fun and spending time together, even with you.
Exactly. Remember, guys, this is not scientific research. Please do not take anything that we say as fact.
Yeah. Actually, I advise you, if you are going to get into like a debate with somebody on any topic we cover, do not use us. Actually,
use us as a resource.
Go double check us, in fact, and see what you find before you double down on any argument or a bet.
Because in listening back to our episodes and editing, I have found several times where I was incorrect.
And truly, that's not what this is about. This is about just having fun questions about the Pacific Northwest that lead us to more fun questions. And we love to talk about it. We have a fun time. And part of that is our discussion back and forth when we come across these things. And that's why we thought it would be a good podcast. And it wasn't to be know-it-alls anyway.
Exactly.
Or historians or...
Exactly. And you can take some of the things that we share with you here, and maybe that inspires you to go and do your own research, or maybe visit some of the places that we're talking about, because that's going to be a lot of it.
Let us know if you come across anything that you think is fun and exciting. And,
absolutely.
And if you would like to discuss it with us, we could even have you on our show. And
absolutely. If you are an expert, even if it's a 30-minute expert like I am, about something having to do with the Pacific Northwest, the best thing to do is to email either Jody at jody@rainydayrabitholes.com.
You can email Shay, SHEA, at rainydayrabitholes.com.
Yes. And that is the best way to tell us about a topic you think we should do. If you tell me in person, I am going to forget.
Yeah.
I promise. That is my promise to you. If you tell me your suggestion, I promise I will forget about it.
I have lots of text messages, and I've stored those tips away.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I'm not very good at that either. Email us.
Yeah, email us.
Yeah, and we'll put it on the spreadsheet. All right. One of the biggest influences for the modern Christmas holiday comes from Yule, which is Germanic and Norse. So from the Yule holiday.
And that's the
Germanic and Norse
holiday. Or is that
so
just
Yule is the name of the holiday.
Okay, got you.
Yes. Okay. So it was a pre-Christian festival celebrated.
You've only had like 2 sips of that champagne.
I'm tired. It's been kind of a long, fun 4 days.
Super fun.
Okay. So it typically lasted for 12 days and was a time of feasting, gift giving, and the lighting of fires to symbolize the return of the sun. Okay. So a lot of these holidays were all about the return of the sun.
It's like I invented this holiday.
Yes, this is your holiday. You should celebrate winter solstice.
I didn't even know it existed
every year.
I'm not about Christmas anymore. Just this is notice to my family that we are not celebrating Christmas anymore.
Well, think about
We're
this.
just going to celebrate the return of the sun.
Right. And you've talked about, to me, how Christmas can be kind of stressful because you have 3 daughters. Well, four. Let's start that over. You have 4 daughters and they're all married, right?
Yep. They're all in committed relationships.
You have 4 daughters and they all have partners.
Yes.
And those partners probably have families.
Absolutely.
And then especially if there's children involved, those partners also have probably grandparents.
100%.
So there are a lot of obligations around the holidays about who's going where, and that can become very stressful, right?
Yes.
So what if you were like, you guys go have fun with your partner's family for Christmas, and we're going to have a celebration on the winter solstice.
I think I'm going to have to do
tradition.
that. Yes, new tradition. Because I am all about that day.
Yeah. So
you've heard me say maybe on previous episodes that I resist changing my porch decor to fall because to the very end. It's got to be raining for at least 5 days straight before I'll do it because I'm holding on tight to summer. I won't give in. So I'm so excited about this solstice. Thank you, Shay.
Scholars have connected the original celebrations of Yule to the wild hunt, the god Odin, and the heathen Anglo-Saxon Modron heat. Nope. A word that I cannot pronounce that means Mother's Night.
Oh,
We're leaving that in.
Mother's Night. Yeah, yeah.
The celebration started with the Winter Solstice, which is also known as Midwinter Night. I like that. That's very romantic.
Midwinter Night. Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Mm-hmm. And we're part of the celebration, like we said, of the return of the sun. In addition, the 12 days of celebration served a function for calendar synchronization. This was interesting. There are about 11 to 12 extra days after 12 lunar cycles before the sun synchronizes with the calendar again. So the olden times, obviously, they didn't have a calendar like we do. Their lives were around the cycles of the moon, right? The cycles of the sun, especially when you talk about people that were agricultural and planting like that. But it wasn't 12 perfect cycles. So they had this 12 days to get everything back in sync again. So this was
fascinating.
Yeah, I thought that was really interesting.
Is this how we came up with maybe leap year a little bit? Did this help in that?
I don't know.
Interesting.
Could be.
I've always wondered how they figured out
if
we
anybody,
needed a leap year.
Yeah, if anybody out there knows exactly why we have the leap year and where it stems from,
it's
email
like I
us.
don't know how to look it up.
I know. I
just
don't know how to look
wonder.
anything up. I know. So these 12 days existed outside of that normal lunar calendar, and they served to keep the daily household and seasonal agricultural rhythm aligned.
Yeah.
So this is also where the tradition of leaving food out for Santa began. So in Scandinavia, food, usually porridge with butter, would be left out for the little red-capped tomte, I think is how it's said, or Nisse, which is household spirits or elves.
Really?
Yeah. So, and that's where now we have leaving cookies out for Santa. Yeah. So that was from these Norse traditions.
From porridge with butter to cookies.
I know. Porridge with butter sounds kind of good, though.
Actually, I was thinking that. Love some cream of wheat with butter. Even if it's
cream of wheat.
Even if it's got some chunks in
what
it.
What about
malto
meal?
No, I prefer the cream of wheat.
Okay.
And once upon a time, I had the opportunity to try out the government version, which was called farina, which is the non-commercial way to say cream of wheat, right? Because cream of wheat is farina. Anyway, and that was extra good. I've never forgotten how actually delicious
government
that
cream
was.
of wheat is good?
I know. I kind of like, where do I get my hands on that?
Well, you've got to know somebody that works at JBLM.
Well, I no.
What is it?
This
is
was
it
not.
JLBM
This was
or
not
JBLM?
for. I don't think they'd be giving it to the DoD. It was the whatever they gave when to families that didn't have money.
Oh,
right.
Okay.
I think it was part of the agriculture or something. I don't know. I was a child, but I do remember I was the only one that ate it, and it wasn't my family's, but I got it.
Oh, interesting.
No one liked it, but I ate it.
I do like cream of wheat, but I kind of I really love malto meal. I grew up with that, and also with chocolate malto meal.
Oh yeah.
Which is just, and thing about it is just nostalgic and delicious.
Yeah.
Love me some chocolate malto meal.
I feel like the instant cream of wheat is a little bit more like the malto meal, and I just prefer to cook it.
Okay. It's been a while.
Not me.
Oh, we should bring.
It's been maybe a week.
Really? Let's bring some cream of wheat to the beach house.
Oh, yeah, I'll bring it. I have it.
That sounds great.
Easy to make.
Back on track. In Sweden, Father Christmas is called the Jultomte, the Yule elf. Thought that was interesting. See, he's an elf. That's where we get the elves.
So is Santa like a giant elf?
He's a giant elf, yeah.
Got it.
On the winter solstice, Odin, accompanied by his ravens and a procession of spectral huntsmen, was said to ride through the sky collecting the souls of any humans who did not find shelter, and that was known as the wild hunt. So that would happen on winter solstice. Everybody needed to stay inside by their fire so that Odin wouldn't
the
get you.
Fireplace being so important.
And keeping the Yule log going throughout the night.
Yes.
Because of Odin. I thought that was interesting.
That is interesting. And now somehow the very large elf comes down it to deliver presents.
Right.
Translated somehow.
You can see a lot of traditions from the Norse. And I think the Norse also would do a lot of decorating with evergreen type of stuff as well. So that's where we get a lot of those. So another and probably the most important cultural input into this holiday is from the Roman culture, from ancient Rome. So Saturnalia. So in ancient Rome, Saturnalia was a festival held in the honor of the god Saturn. It was a time of merriment, feasting, gift giving, and they would also do these social role reversals where the slaves would be allowed to do whatever they wanted for the day, and even sometimes they would sit at the head of the table and the masters would serve the slaves for that day.
Wow.
And it was traditionally held on December 17th, but then eventually it got lengthened into 3 days and then 7 days. And on the Julian calendar, winter solstice fell on December 25th.
Oh, ho, ho. Answering the question, how we got that date.
Exactly.
So now we know a little bit about where gift giving came from.
Yes. I mean, both the Norse and the Romans would do gift giving.
That tradition.
Yes.
Yeah.
And during this time of Saturnalia, normal work and business came to a halt. There was lots of parties and feasts, and people would decorate their homes with wreaths and other greenery.
So we've kept that.
And they would switch out their togas for colorful clothing.
Green and red now.
Mm-hmm. And like we said, slaves were allowed to take this time off and participate in the festivities.
Hence the day off of work.
Exactly. And instead of working, the Romans would feast, play games, sing, and exchange gifts.
What about that thing where they changed roles? That's something I haven't heard. I'm trying to think through how we translated that, but I haven't heard that.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Yeah. I don't even recall hearing any traditions where now the kids had to serve the parents or whatever.
Yeah, I don't know. Thanks to the Roman Empire's conquests in Britain and Europe and their suppression of older Celtic traditions and rituals, many of Western culture's winter traditions are derived from Saturnalia. So that was because of Rome's spread throughout that part of the world. And as the Bible does not give a specific date for Jesus's birth, in fact, many theologians concluded that he was probably born in the spring, especially when you talk about there's sheep herders out in the fields tending to their flocks. And he wasn't born in the middle of winter.
Right. And there was these beds of hay. Everything was set up for the birth of animals, which typically is in the spring as well.
Spring, not in the middle of winter, right? Since there's not a specific date in the Bible, Western Christian churches settled on celebrating Christmas, literally Christ Mass, on December 25th, which allowed them to incorporate the holiday with Saturnalia and other popular pagan midwinter festivals. So this was the church's way of letting people still celebrate those traditions that they had for a long time, but now we're going to put it into Christianity.
So the intention was good to allow them to keep celebrating in these certain ways on these certain days, but now giving them different meaning. I mean, I always think about it as just like hijacking this holiday more than that, but the intent was just to make sure as we move forward, you can still do these things, but no, it was hijacking.
I promised I wasn't going to ruin Christmas.
Oh, okay. So we're going to just move along. You can cut that out, Shay.
All right.
Grinch.
So as you can see from these two cultures, there's a lot of things that we still practice today. Not only just the date, but some of the traditions and festivities of feasting and the fires and all that kind of stuff.
I'm so glad those things have survived.
Yeah, it's fun. And the gift giving. That's fun too.
I don't know.
So in East Asia, there's the Dongzhi festival, and it's heavily Chinese, but there are similar festivals in Japan, Korea, and Vietnam. The winter solstice is celebrated in a way where families come together to enjoy special foods, especially sweet rice dumplings, symbolizing reunion and the positive energy of the sun. So it's rooted in the ancient philosophy of yin and yang, which represents harmony and balance in the universe. So on the dark winter solstice, negative yin energy is at its peak. And from that point on, positive yang energy will grow as spring approaches and daylight hours grow longer.
I thought it was just how I felt about it, my attitude, but it's actually just something in the universe.
Yes, exactly. Mm-hmm. Positive energy just grows as the days go. I like it. Mm-hmm. So in Japan, they celebrate Toji, and it's rooted in that same Chinese philosophy of yin and yang. And the Japanese traditions of Toji involve some practices which I like. So one of their big things is a favorite custom is taking a yuzu-yu, which is a hot bath where you float yuzu fruit, which is a lovely lemony citrus fruit, in your hot bath because the fruit is regarded as having cleansing properties, healing properties, and it signifies good luck.
Do you know if they put ginger in there too?
In their bath?
In their bath. I've heard of this tradition from some friends at my previous place of employment, and they would do the citrusy bath, but they'd also put some ginger in there.
Well, that sounds spicy.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Do you think that would burn in your lady part?
No, I've done it. It's like it kind of floats a bit because it was all ground up.
But can you smell it?
Yes. And the steam, the hot water just makes it, what is that called? I mean, not
aromatic.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Do you think that it would probably be bad for my hot tub if I floated
I would think
yuzu
so.
and ginger in my hot tub?
Your husband may
He would kill me.
have a different Christmas present in mind for you.
Me cleaning the hot tub.
Now, wait a minute. Well, yeah, I guess that would. I mean, if you got the right cheesecloth.
Well, it's the oils. It's the essential oils.
Never mind.
Yeah, I don't think that would work. Bummer. Taking a yuzu during winter solstice is believed to protect one from catching a cold and to ward off bad spirits.
Now, this may be a really stupid question, and
there is no such thing as a stupid question. Okay. There are only stupid answers, and I am full of stupid answers.
In my 50s now, and I maybe should. Is the winter solstice? I mean, we say it's the 25th of December is Christmas, and I just feel like is it the same date no matter where you're at? Because remember, Australia has a different summer than us.
I think so. That there might be a day. Yeah, I mean, it depends on your time zone what day it's going to fall on. And so for the Pacific Northwest this year, it's December 21st. Yeah. So it was the Julian calendar that it was December 25th.
Gotcha. Okay.
Right.
Okay.
But it's I can't around this time of year. It's within a couple of days.
Yeah. Okay.
I think I could be wrong.
All right. Well, I'm going to make sure by the end of this episode we know the answer.
Okay. So also in Japan, they will make meals with kabocha squash, which is a squash I love. It has dark green, kind of warty skin and a deep yellow-orange flesh that is sweeter than pumpkin, and you can eat the skin too. The skin is quite delicious. So you can roast it. Recently, I made a curry where I roasted and then blended the flesh and added that into the sauce to give the sauce thickness and creaminess and flavor, and it was so good. It was a vegetarian delicious. Curry, yeah.
Now, is the skin like a distinctly different flavor? Like an orange peel and orange pulp are a little bit
the skin different. Does taste a little bit different. It tastes... I don't know. It just tastes good, and it's easy to eat, and it's full of nutrients. So it's good to eat the skin of a kabocha.
It sounds delicious, and I'm really upset I haven't tried it.
Well, next weekend you get to try some.
Oh, yeah.
Yep, I got one in my garage. So they'll make meals with kabocha and adzuki beans, which are these lovely red beans, and as well as healthy vegetables called unmori, like daikon, carrots, and lotus. So now I would like some lovely kabocha and adzuki bean stew. That sounds delicious.
Yes.
It's a little stewed cabbage.
I don't think I've ever eaten lotus.
So when I was in Japan, did anyone know I went to Japan? Have I talked about that at all yet? Did I tell you about that trip?
Was that recent?
My brother and I had this amazing tempura lunch in Himeji, and one of the things on there was lotus fruit that was tempura fried. And it was good. It was really good. It's a root, so it's got root-like qualities, but it's this kind of round thing that has all these holes in it. It's interesting.
That is interesting. Good. I've had the coffee shops are now selling drinks, like the lotus drinks or something. I've had it once. Supposed to give you energy or something.
I don't know. They use a lot of different parts of the lotus.
Probably just all syrup.
They use the leaves, the flowers, and the root.
Okay.
Yeah. And there's this one park in Tokyo called Ueno Park, and next to the park is this giant field that's full of lotus. They grow in swampy areas, kind of like lily pads, but they're big and they flower up, and they have really interesting flowers that look like a honeycomb almost.
Absolutely. I've actually used the lotus flower in one of my leadership trainings because they kind of grow out of environments that others may not. Most other plants don't survive in. So how do you grow that? Sidebar.
Very cool. Sidebar. Okay. You can see as these customs vary widely in their, you can see these celebrations vary widely in their customs and significance, but they often share a common theme of hope, renewal, and the anticipation of the return of light and warmth as the days begin to lengthen after the solstice.
I can't believe I didn't invent this holiday. I'm feeling it.
Great
feeling
holiday.
It.
We need to bring more celebrations of this. Well, let's take a quick break.
Okay.
So we are back, and Jody has found the answer to our question about what day does winter solstice fall on around the world.
Yep. And it turns out I do know how to research things real quickly.
Hey!
There's a thing called Google.
Oh my gosh.
So the winter solstice we are speaking of is for the northern hemisphere.
Okay.
And it falls on one of 2 days, December 21st or 22nd. And in the southern hemisphere, it happens on June 20th or 21st.
Which is our summer solstice.
So it's the opposite.
Okay.
Yep. So answered our question.
Cool. Thank you.
You got it.
What does this have to do about the Pacific Northwest other than it's dark here?
Yeah.
So for Native American tribes in the Pacific Northwest, the winter solstice is known as the time of the long nights. And it's a time of reflection and connection with the natural world. Tribes like the Coast Salish, Haida, and Tlingit view this celestial event as a crucial part of their annual cycles, acknowledging the changing seasons and the interconnectedness of all living things. So many tribes have ceremonies that involve storytelling, drumming, dancing, and singing. The Lumi Nation, for instance, gathers for a traditional winter dance that signifies the spiritual renewal of the community, and the rhythmic beats of drums and the vibrant regalia worn during these dances honor the spirits and express gratitude for the past year.
Wow.
Sometimes these celebrations are called potlatch, a festival ceremony practiced by indigenous peoples of the Pacific Northwest coast. The word comes from the Chinook trade language, meaning to give away or a gift. The main purpose of a potlatch is redistribution and reciprocity of wealth.
Wow, Shay, I am so impressed how you tied that together. That is amazing.
Are you also impressed how I could say reciprocity?
Oh, yeah,
I was off my tongue.
I was like very all wrapped up in my feelings of being impressed.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. That was nicely tied into the holiday, the Pacific Northwest, rabbit holing. Very, very nicely done. That
I'm
was
not
a
done.
lot of. Oh,
I know. Are you wrapping me up?
oh my gosh!
Yes. Like, are you bored? She's like, oh yeah, that's great. That's all the time we got, guys. Thanks so much. We'll see you later. I was like, why does it sound like I have to quit now? Oh my God. We need another drink of champagne, I think.
Cheers to that.
Cheers. We're so dumb.
I know. I love it.
Okay, so I'm not done yet, guys. All right, so like we said, the main purpose of a potlatch is the redistribution and reciprocity of wealth. So different events might take place during a potlatch, like storytelling, singing, dancing, sometimes with masks or other costume, that sort of thing, such as the Chilkat, Chilkat, Chilkat.
Yeah. Chilkat?
Chilkat.
Chilkat. I think I've seen that as we have been driving around, actually.
Okay. Now, I do apologize to all of the indigenous peoples for horribly butchering your names. I'm very, very sorry. Let's start that one over.
And we would love it if you called us, emailed us, and we'd have you on to help us pronounce these things, because truly it's out of naivete.
Yes, it's not out of disrespect. It's just we're dumb. As we've established. We're very smart people who are very dumb sometimes. Okay.
That's why we love
I'm going to start that sentence over. Okay. Hold on. I'm going to start that sentence over. So different events might take place during a potlatch, like storytelling, singing, dancing, and sometimes with masks or other costumes, like blankets and stuff like that. So not so fun fact. For a good time, potlatches were banned by the U.S. and Canadian governments. So from the late 1800s, when we were really nice to lots of people.
Yeah.
As we've established before.
Not ruin Christmas. Do not ruin Christmas.
Not ruining Christmas. But I'm sorry, US and Canada both were terrible to people that weren't white for a while there. So they banned them in the US and Canada from about 1884 to 1934 in the United States. And it wasn't until 1951 in Canada that the ban was repealed.
1951.
Yeah. Nice job, Canada. You were worse than us. Woo! So nature plays a central role in these celebrations. The Quinault people, And you know why I can say that name?
Because it's a casino. There's a commercial on television.
Television told me how to say it. I'm so sorry to the Quinault people for that being the way I had to learn about how to say your name. Okay. So the Quinault people, for example, have a winter solstice ceremony that involves the lighting of a massive bonfire. This not only symbolizes the triumph of light over darkness, but also serves as a gesture of respect to the spirits and the elements. Additionally, many tribes incorporate traditional foods like salmon and berries sourced from the land into their feasts. Yes. So there are many stories and myths related to the winter solstice that have been passed down through the generations. Their stories, they vary across the tribes, but they highlight themes of rebirth, transformation, and the eternal cycle of life. The Maka people, for instance, have stories about the sun spirit and how its return brings hope and warmth to the world during the darkest day. I like all these. So what can we take away from these traditions? These celebrations teach us the importance of harmony with nature, community bonds, and gratitude for the gifts of the earth. So they remind us that even in the coldest and darkest times, there is always the promise of renewal and the return of the light. Bum, bum, bum.
Okay.
Now I'm done.
Oh my gosh. I loved it, Shay. I loved it. I mean, that actually, I connect with that way better than I did the Singles movie. Let's just say that.
Yeah, same.
I love the long days. I dread our dark winters. I'm getting better at it as I get older. I just set expectations for myself, tell myself I could still go out and do. Because to me, when it gets dark outside, it's time to shut the door, shut the curtains, sit down, and I can't, that's most of your life. I get claustrophobic. Anyway, and I love a lot of that, the spiritualness. I love the idea of protecting our resources or honoring our resources, celebrating life, the light returning and spending it with our families and taking a day off of work to honor it. Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Making things lighter and brighter with feasting and merriment and
then connecting it to the Northwest.
Yes.
Alaska's part of the Northwest, right?
Yes, absolutely.
And so they have those dark days of no light. So this has to be a big holiday for them.
Yes. Have you seen the movie 30 Days of Night?
No, you guys were discussing it today. I'm like, I should probably watch. Is that a scary movie?
It's a vampire movie.
Oh, yeah.
So it takes place in a little Alaskan town that is far enough north that there is 30 days of no light there. Ugh. And it's one of these towns where it has, it'll have like 1,500 people during the summer. And then in the winter time, it'll have like 80 people because everybody leaves. People come up to Alaska to work and stuff like that. Yeah. And then, of course, so they're kind of cut off from everywhere else because it's such a harsh conditions. And then the vampires come in. It's very good. It's very scary.
It seems like it'd be primo for vampires.
It is also a great movie to watch maybe with your family on Christmas Eve.
Yes. Excellent.
Or on the winter solstice. There you go. You're like, just so that it could always get worse.
It could always get worse. You could have no light for 30 days instead of,
Yes, and then vampires could come in and slaughter
18
everybody.
hours a day.
Uh-huh. Yeah, exactly. Remember to be thankful for the things that the winter brings us. Beautiful snow.
Beautiful snow.
Snow is beautiful. Look how beautiful the mountains are when it's covered in snow.
And our summers would not be very enjoyable if we didn't have our winters.
They give us that beautiful snowpack that melts. And when we have, water and green. It gives you lots of opportunity to spend time indoors with your family.
Yeah.
Several holidays to celebrate.
Really, really love my wood fireplace.
Yes, and that's...
Or wood burning stove, I'm sorry.
Yes, having a fireplace. Other things like a lovely heated blanket.
Yes. Hello.
To enjoy in the wintertime.
Yeah.
So just be thankful for all of the wonderful things.
I just want you to know you will see me use that in the summer.
I know I will. I think you're going to be toting it everywhere. I'm going to have to get you a second one. I'm going to have to get a car one.
Now I need booties.
Heated booties.
Is that a thing?
Well, they have the ones that if you're sitting at your desk, it's like a padded, heated thing that you slip your feet into.
Oh, shoot. I need that at my home.
Yeah. So it acts as a footrest and it's heated and you put your little feet in there.
I don't think I use that at my work office because I behave more professionally there, but I'm not going to lie. For anybody watching this, if I'm working from home, I am professional from the shirt up. I'm wearing clothing from the waist down. They're just usually pajamas. Not going to lie. Flannel pajamas are the best to work in.
So because I only work at home, basically, unless I'm out in the field doing appraisals, there are some days where I will get up, and usually I get up and take my pajamas off because usually I work out first, shower, and then I'll put on cozy like leggings and a sweatshirt, and then I'll just put my bathrobe right back on top of it.
Yeah.
And I will work in my bathrobe until 3 p.m. And then I'll finally take it off.
It's the best.
So the Amazon guy thinks I just live in my bathrobe now. Because every time he comes to the door, I'm in my bathrobe.
It's literally
it could be 8 a.m. or 3 p.m. and I'm in my bathrobe.
That's my goals. That's why I want to work from home kind of careers, just for that reason.
Exactly. Well, thank you, you guys. This is kind of our Christmas episode. You'll get a little tidbit on Christmas Eve, so make sure that you check your podcast catcher of choice, whether you're listening on iTunes or Spotify or Player FM or Amazon Music, and you'll get a little treat from us. Please, please, please give us a 5-star review, especially on iTunes. A 5-star, anywhere you can give a 5-star, but please also give us a review on iTunes.
Make sure you follow us on wherever you're listening to the podcast. Hopefully they are giving you alerts when the new episode drops. That's every Wednesday at 12:01. That's midnight 01.
Yep.
A new episode drops.
Yeah, we've had lots of people go, oh, we didn't know you had more episodes. And we're like, every single week. So your podcast catcher may not alert you, but just know every Wednesday morning you wake up and you can listen to our new episode. We release every single week.
Yep.
Please go to Instagram to Rainy Day Rabbit Holes Pod, and you can see pictures. We'll put pictures of the trip we're on right now.
Yeah.
We have some great pictures. And you can email Jody at jody@rainydayrabbitholes.com, not G.
You're never going to live that down.
No,
You're never going to let I've never said a word about it.
G-O-D-Y. I don't know because I don't know where I was going with there.
It's the sound. I'll show you. I have a whole thing about it.
O-D-Y.
I have a whole thing about, I do this coaching thing on the side. I have a whole thing on that, why that happened.
Okay.
That's the way your brain works. But anyway, or you can email Shea, SHEA at rainydayrabbitholes.com.
Yes. And our website hopefully will be looking better in the new year, and you can come there and we'll have links to the episodes as well as our show notes. And you can, if you don't want to email us directly, you can email us through that form on the website as well.
Yes.
And yeah, I think I'm looking forward to the new year for this podcast.
Yes, we are going to kick it up a notch. You're going to see us posting on social media a lot more. We've been dipping our toes in the water. We are now waist deep and ready to we're waist deep. Our hands are up above our head in the formation to take a dive and go under. So
no, it's more like, when you are getting into a cold swimming pool and you kind of like go in slowly. So you're like knee and then thighs. And
so
then
we're shivering.
The worst part is your crotch and then your nipples.
Yeah.
So we've gone up to belly button. So we still haven't dipped our nipples in yet.
Yeah. But I think when you do that, though, you move real fast, right? You get so at some point you realize the faster the better. Just get it over with. Yep. And that is what's going to happen in January.
We're going to get those nipples in. The water will be up to our chin. And then once we're in, we'll realize it's actually nice to be in here.
I almost never get my head underwater because I hate it. But I think we're about to do that right here on our podcast.
I know. I'm going to get my hair wet just for you guys.
Just for you guys.
And I don't like to get my hair wet.
Nope, but it's going to be worth it.
All right, guys. Well, have a wonderful holiday. Have a great winter solstice. Cuddle up next to a fire if you have one, or next to just a hot man if you have one of those.
Or a hot woman.
Or a hot woman. I'm just thinking of how hot my husband always is.
I know. It's the best.
And not just, I think he's hot as in he's attractive. Because
little furnace. He's a furnace.
He's a little furnace.
Yeah.
And you've got a hairy one that you can cuddle up next to. He's like a blanket in himself.
He is. I appreciate it.
Exactly. Yeah. One of my favorite things about my new house is we cuddle up on the couch and turn the fireplace on and put a blanket over both of us and just cuddle up. And we hold hands while we watch TV.
Oh, that's sweet.
In front of the fireplace.
Do you know what my favorite part of your new house is?
What?
Take a guess.
The hot tub?
How close it is to me.
That too. I know, 15 minutes and we can be in
Instead
each
of
other's
45.
I know, and we can be in each other's living rooms.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. All right, guys. Well, we love you. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you for listening. Please visit our website and our social media sites and wherever you get your podcast. Make sure you at least give us a rating, and if it's at all possible, give us a review.
Yeah, we'll start reading out 5-star reviews on the podcast next year. So get on there, and if you want your review read out.
Yes, we'll call you out.
Exactly. All right. Well, thank you.
Thank you for listening. See you down the rabbit hole.
What are we doing again? That's the name of our podcast. What are we doing again?
Oh,